cold? It's fine. We almost had to have a vote there. All right, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome to Monday evening. It's nearly over the day. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in on our live stream around South Africa. My name is Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here. I'm going to be spending the next 50 minutes with you or so. We're going to go through what DuePoint's all about, what the opportunity is all about, and after the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me and ask me any questions that you might have. Is that okay? All righty, let's begin. As you can see, we're a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. That's their building in the background, so we don't share offices with them, but they're just down the road here in Randburg. The FSP number that we operate under is that one over there, so the FSP, Financial Services Provider. That's very important. That's our license to operate in the financial services sector in South Africa. You'll also notice above the foyer outside, we've got all these certificates that are framed up on the wall. Those are Financial Services Board licenses. So those are licenses to operate in long and short-term insurance as well as investments. And we've got our Financial Services Provider license on display. We've also got our accreditation with the Direct Marketing and the Direct Selling Associations. We put all those certificates up because we trust that as guests, as visitors to DuePoint, you need to trust the business that we're going to be speaking about. That's fairly fundamental in accepting any proposition. And so we take credibility very seriously. You can go check out those certificates. You can do a background check on us. We are listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange under a business called Conduit Capital. So feel free to go do a background check. The executives and managers of these individuals up on screen. The first three individuals are registered chartered accountants, starting with Mr. Benfield. He's our senior executive. He heads up the division. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because he's got this insurance pedigree in the family. His father was is a professor of insurance. His father is the man who founded Clientele Life. His father founded the IFA all those years ago. And they founded a host of businesses, financial businesses in South Africa, in Europe. They've helped start financial businesses in Australia. So they've had a lot of success in the space. Brendan and his brother followed in their father's footsteps, both accountants, and they went on to help found a business down the road called Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD. So we're very lucky to have Brendan heading up this division. Tim and Stacey, they look after the auditing, the accounting, the financial requirements in our business. Tim has been working in corporate banking for over 15 years. He had a very senior position at the First Rand Group, and then Stacey has been working in auditing all her career since she graduated. So she worked for Deloitte from graduation until now. She worked here as well as overseas. So those are the boring accountants. Then myself, Jane and myself, we are the non-accountants in the business. Jane is very experienced in network or referral marketing, and that's fairly important because even though we're an insurance company, our growth in South Africa's market is very much determined by our ability to work in the network marketing space. And so Jane brings us international experience because she's from the UK. She's got a lot of her experience from the UK to our team here in South Africa. And then myself, I've been working in advertising for over 20 years. I did work quite a lot in the financial services space, so we worked on Investec heavily. I ran a digital agency for about 15 years, and we did a lot of work for the big banks in South Africa. So I kind of know the financial landscape a little bit. I'm not an accountant by any means, but I kind of take care of all the communications, the marketing, and the networking aspect here at DuePoint. So that's a little bit of background on us and the business. Very quickly, I'm going to gloss over the circumstance that the majority of us find ourselves in. You can see it's a fairly negative slide because it starts with that horrible four-letter word you see up on the left corner there, debt. So if you, and I don't have to tell you this, but you know, it might interest you, it might not, but the economy has suffered terribly in South Africa. I didn't realize the extent. I actually sat down with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago for lunch, and he is an economist of sorts, and he was telling me that our GDP in South Africa is actually half of what it was 8 years ago, and I didn't believe him. I said, it's no way it's half. It can't be half, right? 8 years for our GDP to drop by 50%. And I came back from lunch and I went and Googled it. Our GDP has halved. And you wonder why we've got 10 million unemployed people in South Africa. All right? South Africa as a whole, if we had to see South Africa as a company, we're producing next to nothing compared to where we were 8 years ago. And we feel it personally. So you might be thinking, well, I'm not one of those unemployed people. But it's affected you nonetheless. It doesn't matter what you're earning as a salary, it affects you. The economy will be affecting you. We see it directly in terms of how people's salaries have not kept up with the cost of living. And you feel that in your pocket at the end of every month because you think, geez, groceries are getting ridiculously expensive. Your salary is not keeping up with inflation in South Africa. And that's what the majority of South Africans find. And I think we make this mistake of then getting ourselves into debt. We try to remedy the problem, this gap that's formed between salary and cost of living, using debt. And unfortunately, for most of us, we fall into this debt cycle that we can't get out of. And we are here this evening to change that circumstance, because I'm sure you are, as well as I am, tired of the circumstance that we find ourselves in. We want to change that circumstance. And so 2 years ago, Constantia launched this division called DuePoint with the DuePoint system in mind. It was launched in 2016, February 2016, so we're 2 years and 2 months old. And we've got aspirations beyond just creating an income opportunity for the people that join us in this business. So you might be thinking, well, I'm just here to earn money, but DuePoint is really about creating wealth. And wealth is not just about having extra money. Wealth is actually thinking about money differently as well as making money, right? And so those aspirations that we have in mind for the people that join us in this business is also, number one, to become debt-free as quickly as possible. For that to be an aspiration of people in this business, to want to become debt-free as quickly as possible. You don't have to take 20 years to pay your bond off. You don't have to take 5 years to pay your car off. You don't have to sit with credit card debt for the rest of your life. You can actually aspire to getting rid of that debt as quickly as possible, because to create wealth, you can't owe other people money, right? And so first we get rid of our debt, and then we can focus on creating wealth. And we create wealth through the ownership of assets. That's very important. The ownership of assets and investments that hopefully appreciate with time. But you need that ownership. And then ultimately the third aspiration is just to be happier. Because if you are completely debt-free and you're only creating wealth, you will be happier, I hope. If you're still unhappy, you've got to go see a counselor. Right? We can't help you with that. But hopefully money will solve a lot of the issues in your life. So those are the three aspirations we have beyond just making extra money. You can align yourself to those aspirations or not. That's up to you. But how does this business work? So basically, our guests here this evening and watching us on the live stream, you have the opportunity to join this business DuePoint and to engage in this DuePoint system. You actually enter into contract with DuePoint, and once you've joined DuePoint, we call you wealth engineers. So that's your term. That's what you'll be referred to as, a wealth engineer, because that's really what we're here to do, design and engineer our wealth. And your task as a wealth engineer is to build what we call channels of distribution. And I'll show you what a channel of distribution is, but basically it's a network. And really what you're going to be doing in building a channel of distribution is really just introducing people to this opportunity. That's all you're going to be doing. You're not going to be selling. You're just going to be connecting people to this opportunity the same way you're connected to the opportunity. And when you are successful in that process and you have people come and join DuePoint because of your efforts and take out one of our products through our online platform, that is how the entire business works. As basically as that, explained in 2 sentences, the benefit for you is that you get to create additional income. Now that's why we're all here this evening, that's obvious, but beyond that, the nature of the income that we produce here is fairly important. We refer to it as recurring income. Some people call it passive income. My father's got a lovely term for it. He says it's the ability to make money while you're sleeping. Did you know that was even possible, to make money while you're sleeping? It is. It's very possible. This I became very aware of when I started running my own business. So I started my own agency, I think, at the age of 22, 23, so fairly young, but in the industry, in advertising, you're not too young at 23. You can be seen as a business owner, especially in digital, right, in internet. The old people didn't know the internet in those days. No offense to any of the old people. Still don't, right? What do they call it? Born before technology, what? Born before computers. And so I became really aware of this difference between creating active income and passive income. So as employees, we all earn what we call active income. You have to work for the month to get a salary. That is what we call active income. Creating passive income or recurring income is the ability to own an asset, and the asset pays you an income beyond your efforts, right? So to explain that, I often compare it to owning a second property. If you owned a second property, right, your asset, that property will create rental income for you. That is recurring income. You don't have to build the house every month. You don't have to sell the house every month or rent it out every month. You've got a tenant and you get rental income every month regardless of your efforts. That's beautiful income that comes in. That is making money while you're sleeping, right? In this business, you get to share in this benefit because insurance companies inherently create recurring income and you get to share in that recurring income at DuePoint. You can put effort into building your channel of distribution in the month of April that will potentially pay you in May, June, July, August, September, October, potentially for the next 10 years, right? So it's a very important benefit. The power duplication, the way we've built the DuePoint system is with what we call leverage in mind. Leverage is the ability to leverage your efforts. In other words, multiply your efforts. So instead of being a salesperson, for example, you become the sales director. Right? Everyone wants to rather be the sales director because as a sales director, you earn a little bit of commission from every person that is selling for you. If you're just the salesperson, you only earn commission off of your own efforts. And so similarly in this business, when you go out and build a channel of distribution, you're going to be bringing people, connecting people to DuePoint that will be collaborating with you. And if they collaborate with you successfully, your recurring income will increase not only off of your efforts, but off of your team, off of your channel's efforts. And so leverage is very important. Power duplication is very important. And I'll illustrate it to you with some examples a little later. Flexi time, you get to decide how DuePoint fits into your life. Right? At work, we're forced to arrive at 8 a.m. and go home at 5 p.m. or whatever your contract tells you. In this business, you can decide freely how DuePoint fits into your life. You can do it at any time of the day, anywhere in South Africa. We have employed technology that allows you to do that. Everything that we do is online. So you can be in Pofadder and it can be midnight and you can be growing your channel of distribution and your recurring income. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Startup capital. We make this business as risk-free as possible. We want to make the business as accessible as possible, and so we've made it as risk-free as possible. So we don't have starter kits that you have to buy. We don't have boxes of product that you have to invest in. There's no lump sum of money that you have to put into this business to get started in it. We don't want there to be risk for you to get involved in a business like this. At the same time, we're not worried about your qualifications or experience whatsoever. It doesn't matter if you've got matric or you don't have matric, whether you've got work experience or not, whether you have a degree or not, it does not matter to us. I've seen people successful in this business purely based on one thing, and that is work ethic. Nothing else. Nothing about your background or your experience or where you're from. It's free opportunity and equal opportunity for everyone in the business. You get to build an asset. Now, this is probably one of the most important points on the slide, is that you get to build an asset that you have ownership over. Right? Does that make sense? You're building an asset here that you have ownership over. You have legal tender over this channel of distribution that you're going to be building. It means you can sell it at any stage. You can sell it next month, next year, 10 years' time, 30 years' time, 50 years' time. Because if you've produced an asset, a channel of distribution that is creating recurring income, it has intrinsic value, that asset. The value of that asset doesn't disappear. Once you hit 60 or 65 or 70 and your employer retrenches you or puts you on early retirement or sends you on to retirement, this business will carry on paying you. We never put you into retirement, right? The business will carry on paying when you die. Now that's interesting. Where does that money go? Well, hopefully you're going to be passing wealth onto the next generation. Majority of South Africans pass debt onto the next generation because debt doesn't disappear either. Right? So you've got to decide, am I passing on wealth or debt onto my children? We want our wealth engineers to pass wealth onto the next generation. There's no selling involved in our business. So this might be quite confusing because you're thinking, well, I'm here, I'm joining a business, I'm not selling, what are we doing here? All you're going to be doing is connecting people to the business opportunity. You're not selling anything. You don't have to speak about DuePoint's products. We've got products, we'll go over them shortly, but you don't talk about our products. You don't sell our products. You don't have to explain our products. That's my job. Your job, your task, is to just connect people to a financial opportunity. If people are interested in the financial opportunity, they can look at one of our presentations, whether it be on YouTube, online, on a USB stick. It doesn't matter how you connect them to the presentation. And then myself or Brendan will do the presentation, explain the products and how the business works. Right? I don't get any commission from you, unfortunately. I should take a little bit off the top. But that's the beauty. You're not going to be selling or talking about our products. There's no stock or distribution issues because our products are financial in nature. They're not tangible products. Like I said, we don't have boxes of product that you have to take home. We had a gentleman arrive 2 weeks ago who said he brought his bakkie. Thought he was going home with boxes of product, right? He was relieved to know that he wasn't going home with any product. Didn't have to fight with his wife about space in the cupboard at home to put the product. Products don't expire here either. And so we make the products as convenient as possible. But your success at DuePoint is dependent on your ability to build a channel of distribution. So this is what it looks like. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer. You take it one of our products, and you are now going to start connecting other people to this opportunity. Right? In this example, you have been successful with 5 individuals that you exposed the opportunity to. They sat in a presentation and they decided to become wealth engineers. They also took out one of our products, and now that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. Your channel of distribution now will take on a life of its own, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, because the people that became wealth engineers because of your efforts will now go out and build their own channels of distribution, in turn building your channel of distribution. And this is what we call leverage, or the power of duplication, right? Because this organic growth now starts to take place in a channel. We've got plenty examples of people that have joined DuePoint, and some who have even left. We had one lady who had amazing success in our business at the beginning. In the first 3 months, I think she was up to 4,000 or 5,000 rand a month within the first 3 months, and then she left. For whatever reason, we just started seeing less of her. She disappeared. Her channel carried on growing. I think she's now got over 2,500 people in her channel, and she's completely oblivious of the fact and the amount of money that she could still be making if she was still at DuePoint. Right? Your channel will grow whether you like it or not, because these individuals that you brought into the business are wanting to change their own circumstance. Their success has got nothing to do with you, right? But you want to support them, and you want to bring in quality individuals. Because if you can build a quality, sustainable business, you'll be in the position one day where you don't have to nurse your business anymore. And that's really, ideally, the position we want to be in when we own an asset that requires no nursing or maintenance, that pays us every month anyway. Because if you're in that position, you will have the liberty to walk away from traditional employment, right? Who would like to tell their boss what they really think about them? Right? We don't have that luxury, but we would like it. And also you can take a holiday longer than 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. You could take a 3-month holiday knowing that DuePoint's still paying you every month. That's why we build an asset that pays out recurring income. That's why it is so powerful. So that's what a channel of distribution looks like. My warning to you is you might have arrived to the presentation, or perhaps even when you were invited to this presentation, you might have thought, oh, another one of those schemes. Did anyone think that? Just wink if you thought that. You don't have to put your hand up. Maybe you're embarrassed, right? But it's a legitimate fear, because there are so many of those schemes in South Africa. Every second person I speak to has been in a scheme and has lost money. It paints a picture of how desperate we are as a society to create financial opportunity for ourselves. But I hope at the beginning of the presentation I allayed those fears. A company that's listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange, that's been around, we've been around since 1952, is not going to employ a division that promotes a get-rich-quick scheme. That's not our business. At the same time, Brendan and myself will never promise you success quickly or easily. Right? I often ask a trick question at this stage. I say, who wants to be part of the get-rich-slow scheme? No one wants to be part of that either. Now you're confused. Which one? I don't want to be in the get-rich-quick scheme. I don't want to be in the get-rich-slow scheme. Right? Do not make the mistake of romanticizing entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship takes hard work. That's why we've got this picture of the ballerina, professional ballerina, right? It's great to be like that. From the outside, you can look at a professional dancer and go, wow, it looks so beautiful, so majestic. But that's what it takes, right? In her example, 10,000 hours of practice. That's what a professional dancer's foot looks like. And a successful entrepreneur is similar. It is blood, sweat, and tears, right? And throughout this presentation, I'm going to keep offering you things. I'm going to be putting things on the table: money, rewards, holidays, cars, all kinds of things that is equally anyone can take. You can decide what you want off the table. But it requires that hard work, the blood, sweat, and the tears. And the decision really is, do you really want it? because everyone wants it, but do you really want to work for it? That is the decision you really need to make. Okay, so this is our disclaimer slide. Let's go over our products. We've got 3 financial products. The benefits are all financial in nature. Our first product is called Access Wealth. It is 324 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund in your name. That fund sits with Sanlam, the biggest investment house in the country. On top of the investment, we give you some insurance, 120,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover. So if you have this product, you're paying 324 Rand every month, 100 Rands being invested for you, and you also have insurance. So if you're killed in some form of accident, whether it be crime or car accident or whatever the case, your beneficiaries will be paid out 120,000 Rand plus whatever's in the investment. The investment, by the way, is a no restriction, no delay account. That means you can withdraw your investment at any stage. It takes us about 4 or 5 days to process, but it's not a 30-day or a 60-day notice or one of those accounts, right? So this is the first product, Access Wealth, our investment product. The second product is called Wealth Guard. Wealth Guard is strictly insurance, so it's only personal accident cover. It is 299 Rand per month, but this time you get 1.2 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. Right? So note I say personal accident cover. I'm not calling it funeral cover. I'm not calling it life insurance. And it's not comprehensive life insurance. The problem with those products is that they profile you from a health risk point of view. So if any of you have got life insurance, you know you've got to fill out a form this long. You've got to declare every time you've seen the doctor in the last 10 years. You've got to have urine tests, blood tests. The nurse comes to feel you. All kinds of things happen, right? And then they decide what premium you're going to be paying based on your risk profile. I can offer this product to anyone over the age of 18, regardless of your age. You can be 70, you can be diabetic, you can have a heart condition, you can still get 1.2 million Rands worth of personal accident cover for only 299 Rand a month, right? So that's Wealth Guard. The third product is called Wealth Points. Wealth Points is 299 Rand again, but this time the product aims to save you money every month on the money that we're spending. So you've got a cost of living list. I bet you spend money at least one of these suppliers. So the suppliers that you see there, the companies that you see there, we've partnered with them. We've negotiated discounts for them on behalf of our Wealth Points members. For example, always on Wi-Fi data, typically for a gig of data, you'd pay 100 Rand. Through Wealth Points, you only pay 37 Rand. Right, so we've got everything covered there. We've got retailers, we've got online retailers, we've got beauty, we've got hotels, restaurants, car manufacturers, data. It is all covered over there. We want you to save money on the money you're spending every month. We are adding partners to this program too all the time, so that list is growing. If you're looking for immediate benefit, this is the product to go for. All right. So those are the 3 products. If you have any questions on them, come speak to me. So what separates us from typical insurance companies? It is our business model. So this illustrates our business model. Traditional companies like Prime Meridian down the road, like Outsurance, like all those businesses, what they do is they spend a huge amount of their budgets on advertising or marketing. That's how they get their product to market. Right? At DuePoint, we don't do any advertising. We don't spend a cent on marketing. We rely on our wealth engineers to go out and connect people to DuePoint. And that's how our business model differentiates. That means instead of spending the billions that the insurance industry typically spends every year on marketing, we can take that portion of our budget and attribute it to our returns and rewards program and pay our wealth engineers for the work that they do. And that's basically how the business model works here at DuePoint. So those are the 2 ways to earn, our returns program and the rewards program. Let's discuss the returns program. The returns program is the recurring income that you create at DuePoint, right? That's the money. We're going to talk about the money now. So we pay a base return fee of 27.50 Rand for every product that lands up in your channel. Remember the slide with all the dots on? Now imagine getting 27.50 Rand for every single dot that appears on that slide. Right? That's how it basically works. But it is dependent on where the product lies in relation to you. So remember the first 5 individuals you introduced to DuePoint? We call that your first point. These people are 1 point away from you. And on your first point, we actually pay you double. We pay you 55 Rand for every single product every single month. Remember, this business is about leverage and power duplication. It's not once-off income. That's money that you earn every single month going forward. Those people go out, they build your second point. And on your second point, again, you get paid 55 Rand for every product every month. And as your channel starts to grow to the 3rd point, all the way to the 8th point, you see the multiplier drops At the 8th point, you're earning 4% of the 27 Rand 50, but what's important to note is that we don't limit you at point 8. That's why we've got a little plus sign next to point 8. From point 8 outwards into infinity, you can keep earning on your channel, on your qualified channel, all right? So we don't limit you on how big this channel can get. We don't limit you on how much money you can earn at DuePoint. There's no limitation. There's no year modes, right? All the effort you put into this business, you can derive value out of the effort. The onus falls on your shoulders. How big do you want your channel distribution to get? Typically, we get then asked, well, how much do people earn in this business? So when we launched the business, what we did initially was come up with a projection. So the projection was, or is, over the next 5 years. We call it the path to success. So it shows you typically what you could earn in the next 60 months, the next 5 years. It is based on a premise, right? An example of what we call 3+2. So it's called the 3+2 growth formula. It assumes in your first month, so call it April, you can bring 3 people into the business. Not 5 in the example. This is just an example. 3 in your first month, and then next month you bring 2. And the month after that, you bring in another 2. That's why we call it 3+2. And you keep bringing 2 every month into perpetuity. All right? So if you can follow that growth model, these are the numbers you can expect. 2,500 Rand after 6 months. If you're disappointed with 2,500 Rand after 6 months of work, just frown. Right? Everyone's still happy with 2,500 Rand? I wasn't happy with 2,500 Rand. The accountants came up with a projection. I said 2,500 Rand is too little to put 6 months of work in. But what I realized, right, don't worry, the number will get bigger, but what I realized, there was a lesson in this at the beginning. Because at the beginning of the presentation, I told you about our aspirations for people in this business to start thinking differently about money. If you think like a consumer, 2,500 Rand, imagine I put 2,500 Rand under everyone's chair tonight. Surprise, lucky surprise for everybody. How long would that money last? Tomorrow, the next day, maybe the day after that? That's how consumers think. We give money spending value, right? We give it the value of what it can buy us. But if you're trying to create wealth, if you're trying to get money to work for you, you think differently about it. It's not about spending the money. So here I have an example, so I can illustrate it to you. Here's someone with a R1 million bond. They've got a R1 million debt on a house that they bought. The bank financed it for them, and they agreed to pay the bank back for the next 20 years, right? Typical bond. So at the age of 40, like me, if I had to engage in a bond now, I'd make my final installment when I'm 60. I will finally be a homeowner at the age of 60, and at prime +2, it would be costing me 11,500 Rand a month to pay that house off. For 20 years, I'd make those payments every single month before I became a homeowner. But I joined DuePoint, and 6 months later, with some success, I'm earning 2,500 Rand. And I remember Rob's words, pay your debt off first. If you really want to create wealth, get rid of your debt as quickly as possible. So I decided, okay, I'll put that little 2,500 Rand that can't buy you much, and I put it into my bond. What's the big difference, right? The big difference is that you'll pay this house off in 11.5 years instead of 20 years. That little 20% extra that you put into your bond is nearly going to reduce the bond by 50%. The amount of money that it saves you in interest repayments is nearly 1 million Rand on a R1 million house. You've nearly saved the full asset value that you financed. That is how compound interest can hurt you if you're on the wrong side of compound interest. If you are about creating wealth, you need to get onto the right side of compound interest. At month 12, you're earning 9,000 Rand a month. That's in excess of 100,000 Rand a year in recurring income. Imagine coming to DuePoint every Christmas and we've got a 100,000 Rand check. Has anyone held a 100,000 Rand check in their hands before? Imagine getting one every Christmas, because we're about recurring income, not once-off income. Every Christmas, extra 100,000 Rand. That's only at month 12. After 2 years, you're close to 30,000 a month. Remember, 3+2. You're bringing 2 people into the business every single month. After 3 years, 36 months, you're close to 50,000 Rand a month. You want to look at a bond example again? Here's someone with a 5 million Rand bond. At month 30, you're earning about 36,000 Rand a month. You have the choice of spending that money or doing a very boring thing and putting it into your debt. Has anyone thought about what they would do with 36,000 Rand a month? Who would buy a Range Rover? Right? See, we're on the same wavelength. I was pay the bond off. That's very boring. I'm buying the Porsche. I'll tell you right now, right? But if you did happen to decide to pay your debt off faster, in this example, you could pay a 5 million rand house off in less than 7 years. So I'm 40 now. At the age of 47, I became a homeowner. 7 years later, I could pay a second house off, right? Because now Rob says, pay your debt off, create wealth. So I'd invest in property. I buy a second property, I pay that off at the age of 54. 7 years after that, I've paid off my third house. I'm 61 now. I'm retired. I go home to a house I paid off 14 years ago. I've got 2 properties that I'm renting out for 60,000, 70,000 a month in passive income, plus what DuePoint's paying me, because DuePoint doesn't retire me. What's DuePoint paying me after 20 years? We have to make that decision 20 years before we get to enjoy that retirement. You keep going. After year 4, 48 months, you're close to 70,000 a month. Have I lost you yet? Tell me when the number gets too big, I must stop. After 60 months, 5 years, you've created for yourself about R1 million in annual recurring income. Think about taking home a R1 million check every Christmas. Your family will love you more than they love you today. All right? Is that true? Probably, right? Bring home the money. That's all the wife says. Just bring home the money. Don't bring me excuses. So this is all academic. This is a theory, a projection, numbers that the accountants came up with. We've got wealth engineers that join, they do less than 3 plus 2. We've got wealth engineers that join, they do 0. We've got wealth engineers that join, that do more than 3 plus 2. So I know the system works. You can do more than this, or you can do less than this. It is a decision that you get to make. We bring up wealth engineers every single month onto stage to give their testimony, to prove to people that it's possible. Right? So here we have George and Bridget. They joined, what's that, about 14, 15 months ago. So this was last month's Tell-All Tuesday. Last month, the value of their channel when we did Tell-All Tuesday was sitting at over 5,000 Rand a month. To date, last month, we had already paid them 33,000 Rand in total for years, just over a year's worth of work. You want to look at leverage? Their channel size, so the amount of people in their channel sitting at 147, but they only introduced 18 people themselves. They introduced 18, they've got a channel that's got 150 people in. That's leverage. That is the power duplication. Here we got Zacchaeus and Testimonies from Mpumalanga. He joined in June, so he's been in the business for about 9, 10 months. The value of his channel last month was sitting at 7,500 Rand per month. He's got 250 people in his channel. He introduced 28. Again, that is leverage. Right? Everybody is different. Everybody is different. We got Marsha and Rulof. They joined on the 6th of February. When we launched the business, they joined. They were a bit lazy in their first year, but they started believing in the business. They're very experienced network marketers. They were tired of network marketing. They'd been in other businesses in the past, but they joined this one. They sat back for the first year. They got stuck in a year later. The value of their business was sitting at 34,000 Rand last month. They've got nearly 2,500 people in their channel. Right? They've got 17 points open. That means they've got 17 people on their first point that have grown businesses into earning businesses, and they are 162 products away from rank 11 when we're going to be spending R250,000 Rand buying them a brand new car. So we've got 2 wealth engineers that are on rank 11's doorstep. Brand new cars are waiting for them. You'll see all the fanfare in the parking lot when that happens. Everybody is different. We've got thousands of people joining this business. Every single month, everyone is running a different race. We don't dictate the race to you. You choose the race you want to run. What pace do you want to run at? This is a comrades marathon, by the way. It's not a 5K. Comrades marathon that we're running. Decide the pace you want to run at. Right? It is not a sprint. I promise you that. We've got people that arrive here thinking it's a sprint. They want to be rich next month. We see them for 30 days. We don't see them again. Do not be one of those people. Take your time. There is no rush in this business. You should appreciate that. I'm 40. I appreciate that I could have done things differently in the last 20 years. Right? But perhaps I was a bit too rushed in the beginning, and I jumped from one thing to the next as a youngster a little bit too much. Right? Focus on this one thing. There is no rush. Decide what you want out of this business. This is the recurring income that we build through our returns program. So what is the decision? It's not about what you want. Everybody wants. It's dependent on whether you are able to fit DuePoint into your life. This is a straightforward business. We've made it as simple as possible, but I can't make you decide what you're doing every day. When you wake up in the morning, you decide what your priorities are. That is the decision that you need to make, is can you make DuePoint a priority? Not a hobby, not a New Year's resolution, but a business that you're now becoming accountable towards. That's the decision we need to make in the presentation. Getting started is very straightforward. Read our code of conduct. That's our contract with you. Register as a wealth engineer. So you can do that online, or you can do that on a mobile phone. The person that invited you here can help you with that. It takes you about 5 minutes to become a wealth engineer. You can start building this business, this asset that you own. Complete the online training. You don't have to complete the online training, but there's value in it, right? There's value in understanding how this business works. Set goals for yourself. You have to have a goal. Comrades Marathon, everyone's got a goal to finish it, right? If there was no goal, people would be running to the Free State, to Swaziland, to Lesotho, all over the place. Let's have a goal. You have to set the goal so that you can define your plan. If there's no goal, you cannot have a plan. It's impossible. Start talking to people. That is the basic activity in this business. Your task, your single task, is to connect people to the DuePoint opportunity. That's all you have to do. That's a daily task that you can set out. Everything else will fall into place for you. We've got merchandise to empower you building your channel of distribution. So please consider getting business cards. For me, that is foremost. It is uncompromising. You cannot sit opposite someone at a table and propose a business opportunity to them, and then when they say, give me your name and number, you tear off the piece of paper on the corner and you put your name and number. Impossible. If you are in business, business cards are part of that package. They're part of the package, right? So consider getting the business cards, please. The USB stick's got our presentation, so you don't have to rely on head office or the live stream. Just buy the USB stick. All our presentations are on there. And when you start earning money, buy yourself a pin. That pin is only for people earning money in our business. The moment you are qualified in our business, which means you've got 3 people that you've introduced to the business successfully, you become qualified, you can wear that pin with pride. It shows people that you know what you're doing in this business, right? The moment one of your team members do that, you make sure they get a pin. And we've got other merchandise all on display in the cabinet. The pricing is on the counter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's that camera over there. It'll tell you every time we do a presentation, a live stream. We broadcast every presentation that we do, all the training, the development seminars that we do. Download our mobile app. That mobile app becomes your primary business tool at DuePoint, because the mobile app tells you in real time what's happening in your business, and it's also a communication tool. So we send you short little videos, hints, tips, reminders, shortcuts to the live stream. All kinds of things happen on the app. So make sure that you download that onto your smartphone the moment you become a wealth engineer. For the wealth engineers that don't have the mobile app, download it, please. Right? Get that mobile app. So we are developing the mobile app constantly. So the latest development is this little pink, we call it a ping, little pink dot over there. It tells you that you've got a message from DuePoint. So if you click on the pink thing, the menu opens up, you click on notices, and then whatever notices you have will appear on your mobile phone, right? So be aware of that. Make sure that your channel's aware of that. Every month we have an incentive. So incentive is just to get you a little more excited about being part of DuePoint. So April's Wealth Quest, we call them Wealth Quests. April's incentive is called Young Guns, where we challenge you to bring young people into the business. Isn't that a challenge in itself, right? When you're young, you still think you're going to be a billionaire next year. Don't tell me about these other businesses. I've got my own plans, right? So it's quite challenging to bring young people into an entrepreneurial business like this. But I get very excited. I get most excited when I see young people coming into the business. Perhaps because I'm 40 and I think if I could have got involved in a business like this when I was in my 20s, wow, the opportunity, right? Because you've got so much energy as a young person as well. So our challenge is bring just two people under the age of 30 into your channel in the month of April. Help them get qualified, right? So they need 3 people each of themselves. So help them, support them to become qualified. And if you can achieve that in the month of April, you can choose between 5,000 Rand in cash at the end of the month, extra on top of your recurring income, or you can get a big screen TV. That's a 49-inch LED smart TV, so you can run YouTube on that thing, or you can choose an Apple iPad. That's on offer, just by doing a little bit of business with young people this month. That's the extra reward, the benefit that you can gain out of DuePoint this month. For our rank 4s and above, we've got a special incentive called the 90-day challenge, where we are making 25,000 Rand available if they're able to bring in 5 new people in that date range there. So before the 31st of May, you bring in 5 new people, assist them, support them to get to rank 2. An extra 25,000 Rand will be paid to you at the end of May. Just by doing business. This is extra, right? So if you are ranked 2, 3, or 4, you should have taken note of this already. Then on Saturday, we've got a development seminar that Brendan's giving called Truth and Lies. Truth and Lies. So 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, you can tune into our live stream or come to head office. What's amazed me, I've never been part of network marketing until I joined this business, but what's amazed me in this industry is the amount of sentiment and rumors that get passed around. I guess because the business is very much dependent on networking. The amount of rubbish that is spoken about various businesses and the industry, and Brendan is going to set the record straight. He's going to set the record straight on Saturday, so make sure that you tune in. The Dev Seminar will be up on YouTube, so if you can't make it at 9 o'clock, it's already on YouTube by the time we finished. Right? So it'll be available immediately. Make sure you watch this one. I think it'll be very empowering for you if you've got any questions. Perhaps there were some falsisms, some false news. What do we call it? Fake news. Right? Fake news is the new buzzword. If there's any fake news, let this speak truth into the business. And I think that'll help you and your channel. So now I want to speak about our rewards program. So the rewards program is something extra. We spoke about the returns program, the ability to make money every single month. The rewards program is something over and above that. It is where we reward you for the success that you have in building your business, right? So it's extra. So the rewards program works like this. When you become a wealth engineer and you do wealth engineer things, you will be earning XP on the side, whether you like it or not, right? Because anything you do in this business earns you XP. It stands for experience points. If you log into your app, you get XP. If you come to a presentation, you get XP. If you bring a guest with you, you get XP. If you do a home presentation, you get XP. There's 20 different things that earn you XP. And while you're earning XP and your business is growing, we rank you up in the XP Rewards program. So if you start out today, you will be a rank 0 wealth engineer, right? You can see you're not on the slide. Can you see you're not on the slide? There's nothing for you. But to get to rank 1, you only need 1,000 XP. You can do that in 2 minutes. You only need 4 products in your qualified channel. When you meet those 2 criteria, you become rank 1, and we give you an extra 55 Rand. It's not recurring. It's just a once-off 55 Rand for being rank 1. Well done. Buy a cake. Celebrate. Why? Because if you can get to rank 1, you can get to any rank. If you can get to rank 1, you can get to any level at DuePoint. Because the people at rank 1 are doing exactly the same thing the people at rank 20 are doing. If you can do rank 1, you can get anywhere in this business. And as you start to rank up, the more XP you start gaining, the bigger your channel starts to grow, the rewards get bigger and better. There's a 20,000 Rand check waiting for you, a 50,000 Rand check. We give tools to our wealth engineers to help them build their channels more effectively and faster. USB sticks with all our presentations that plug into any device. We've got business cards that we buy you. We spend 12,500 Rand on these business cards. Because when you're sitting across the table from somebody proposing DuePoint, I want you to put a 12,500 Rand business card on the table and see what the other person says to you. Because this business card, we use 4 sheets of board to make 1 business card. The business cards then get sent down to Cape Town and they get gilded in gold. You see the edges, like the old Bibles? One old man in Cape Town, the only person in the country that can do it still, he gilds your personal business cards in gold around the edges. You put a business card like that on the table, I promise you the person opposite you will ask you about DuePoint. They will listen to you a little more carefully for the next 5 minutes. These are tools to empower you building your channels faster and more effectively. At rank 9 is our first recurring reward. All the other ones are once-offs. When you get to rank 9, we invite you and your family, so your spouse, your kids, to our International Rank 9 conference. We pick you up at your house, business class flights, and the kids sit in business class. Have you seen a kid sitting in business class? You ever walk past business class and there's a kid sitting there? You feel some resentment in your heart. Right? Little kids sitting in business class, ridiculous. Your kids will sit in business class. We fly to our international conference. So this year, again, it's going to be in Mauritius. It's a 5-star tier 1 luxury resort. I didn't think we could find a better resort than we went to last year, but we found a resort that is better. 7 days, all expenses paid trip. And then we'll fly business class back home and drive you back to your doorstep. You can forget your wallet at home. You make sure you don't forget your passport. And that happens every single year for the rest of your life. Once you get to rank 9, you come on the rank 9 conference every single year. So take a look at our last trip. We documented it. This is the resort we went to. These are all the rank 9s and their families that joined us. It could be you. It could be you. You've got 8 months to get there.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up. We will start from the start. 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 We will start from the start.
It is. It is. Speak to any of the rank 9s. You can actually go back onto our YouTube channel, go look at the XP Rewards program. There'll be a video there on the testimony of the rank 9s a couple of days after we arrived back from the rank 9 trip. So we've had wealth engineers get to rank 9 in 5 months. 2 of them took less than a year. So I know it's possible. We've got 8 months till our next trip, but we don't reset you in the XP Rewards program. So if you don't make this trip, you keep growing, you'll make the next one, or you'll make the one after that, right? No one gets reset here. At rank 11, we spend R250,000, we buy you a brand new car, it is yours. No DuePoint stickers, no T's and C's, you don't give it back, you don't have to share it with another wealth engineer. The Wealth Engineer Pool Club, no? 4 of you share one car. None of that, none of that. The car is paid in cash, in your name, it is yours. We've got 2 wealth engineers knocking on rank 11's door. So in the next couple of months, I'm sure we're going to be giving away another 2 cars, and that's rank 11. Our rewards program goes up to rank 28. We've got wealth engineers already at rank 13 in the space of 24 months. This is just the beginning. You might think that life has arrived for you if you're going on the trip every year and you've got a car. I'm telling you, it is just the beginning for you. It is just the beginning. We've mapped out the next 30 years of this business. Can you visualize yourself in this business for the next 30 years? Realistically? Is it too soon to make that commitment? Huh? It's like going on your first date and I'm saying, tell me you love me. Right? Too soon, too soon. Move into it slowly. I'm not going to ask you if you love me. Move it into it slowly. There's no pressure in this business whatsoever. There's no rush. You're free to come and go as you want in this business. We have enough confidence in this business that we don't sign you into annual contracts or any of that rubbish. So really, the decision we need to make this evening is whether you want what's on offer in this business. We've got wealth engineers doing it, so we know it is absolutely possible. It is purely dependent on you personally. Can you commit to engaging in this business on a daily, if not a weekly basis, to make this change for you? If you have any questions around the business, come speak to me afterwards. I'm happy to answer any questions. And I sincerely hope that for the majority of us in this room, that 2018 is a year that sets itself apart from any other year. There's too many people moaning about the last year on Facebook. At the end of the year, everyone's going to be moaning about 2018. For you, I want you to have happy faces, all the happy emojis on Facebook saying 2018 was, because at the end of this year, you could be in Mauritius with us, your toes in the sand, sipping champagne in business class. It could be you. You can laugh, but realistically, that's where your life could lead to in the next 8 months, because it is equal opportunity for everyone in this room. No excuses. No excuses. So I wish you the best of luck in the coming months. Come chat to me if you need to. Thank you. Good luck.